How is everybody doing today? So today is new knife day. And this is a knife I'm pretty pumped about. It's my first Null Knives knife, and I'm looking forward to checking it out. So let's get into this thing. Opening up with my pair of three. So like I said, this is my first Null knife. I've been looking at some of their designs, the Voodoo, the Raikou, and this is the one I like the best. Obviously, you know where I got it from. Alrighty, there she is. Oh yeah. We got here. Yeah, I have knives too. Protect everything. Okay, cool. All right, let's get into this guy. Yeah, so like I said, this is a Null Knives Radien R2. This is the Arrow variant on the handle with black PVD, Magna Cut, hand rub, satin blade. Apparently number 509. Alrighty. And we're just gonna bust this little sticker open. There we go. Okay, so yeah, I've had my eye on quite a few Null knives, but like I said, this is the one that I thought was the best looking Null knife, the Radien. And apparently this is his first design. Got some nice stickers. Those babies up there. Don't need that. A little water here. It's raining pretty good here today. All right. Card. COA. 509, hand rub, PVD, blurple, and 5525. It's a new guy. All right, let's get into this guy. Boom, there it is. All right. That is very cool. Nice packaging. I like their packaging. Ooh, there's the back spacer. Also very nice. Get these boxes out of the way. Yeah, so... All right. So I like the arrow pattern. I just thought it was pretty cool. A little more interesting than like a plain... Oh, that's pretty. That blurple is really cool. First knife I've ever had with that color, that with the black, looks really good. Thumb studs. You got a nice little fuller here to reverse flick off of. Blurple hardware. Pivot on both sides. All right, let's pop this baby open. Oh boy. That D10 is stout. Okay, I'm going to have to maybe break this thing in a little bit. Oh, that's pretty. Nice little poon with a swedge. That's a good looking thing right there. That blurple backspacer is really cool. So you got the backspacer comes up, probably three quarters of the way up the handle. Got the lanyard hole back here. Titanium milled pocket clip. Little chamfers on both sides here. And some texturing for the disengagement. Oh, that's smooth disengagement. Nice and smooth on the blade. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I've got very few reverse flick as good as well. Let's see if you can top flip it. Maybe with... I know you can do it. I'm just going to probably have to practice a little bit. I've seen it done, and I know you can do it. It's definitely... It doesn't seem like it's designed to be a top flipper, but I know it can be done. There's little milling on each one of these little arrow holes, and it's kind of shiny. Pretty cool looking. Hand rub satin blade. This is a Magna Cut on the blade steel. Sharpening tool and plunge grind look pretty good. Pretty good for a Riot. So Riot design, or Riot manufactured is the OEM on this particular knife. Sean somebody is the designer, I believe, at Null Knives. Thumb flicking action is pretty good. Let's try that reverse flick. Was it clear? There you go. Got a little bit of grittiness in there. Let's see here. Reverse flick is really good. Oh yeah, this thing is sweet. I really like the design, the aesthetic. Something about it. I'm kind of a drop point fan. I don't really have any knives with a poon, so I thought that was kind of cool. And like I said, I don't have a lot of thumb stud knives. This is my only other knife with thumb studs, and it's the Benchmade North Fork, and it was one of the first nice knives, what I would consider to be a nice knife that I ever owned, other than like bucks and stuff. But it doesn't hold a candle to something like this. This is just on a different level from anything that Benchmade makes, in my opinion. And for the price, it's cheaper than a lot of their stuff. So this one was an easy decision for me. They're kind of limited. I kind of wanted one when they dropped earlier, but they sold out pretty quick, and I didn't pick one up for whatever reason. But I saw them drop again. They got some on Blade HQ, and then they also have some on the Null Knives website. And they had all the variants still available, so I'm going to post this video today. So hopefully, if you're wanting this blade, you can still get it in whatever variant you want. This, like I said, was the one that I picked. But they also have, without the holes and like a blasted titanium with a satin finish. And then they have a black one with the purple or blue-purple anodization, and then milling lines instead of these speed holes. But I kind of like the speed holes. I think it adds a little something to it. They're designed, they're not just holes. It kind of flows with the design. Looks really nice. Let's check out the ergos on this guy. Okay. That feels pretty good. Yeah. There's nothing really pokey or sharp. I mean, it feels comfortable in the hand. My fingers kind of fall right into this little groove here. And then my two other fingers fall right here. So it's pretty well designed. You can choke up on it if you want a little bit. Pretty close to that edge though. Really nice. Nice looking blade. Action smooth. Definitely, like I said, brand new out of the box. So it's going to take a little breaking in, and I might put a little lube on the detent ball because it seems like it's a little gritty. But lock bar access is really nice, like I said. There's no, let's see here. It is a little stiff. There is no cutout here for the lock bar, but there is chamfers on both sides. And like I said, there's some texturing in there so you can get in there. Obviously, titanium frame lock. Tons of milling, it looks like. I left my flashlight upstairs, of course. But there is a lot of milling in here, even where the holes aren't. Really cool design. Do a couple quick size comparisons for you guys here. So let's look at it versus the Para 3. I will do pivot to pivot. And I'll also throw in the Berg Blades Sweeney. Ooh. Really close to the size of the Sweeney. Almost pretty much exactly the size of a full-size Sweeney. So if you got that knife, there you go. Same size. Same manufacturer, OEM rather. Same OEM rather. So that's size comparison for you guys there. Throw in one more knife, the Wee Sakshi. Pretty similar there too. So it's like a 3.3-inch blade. I think the overall length is 7.75, if I'm not mistaken. So that's kind of right what I like to carry in EDC, is that size. I will EDC knives that are bigger than that, and I have no issues doing that. But this is kind of the Goldilocks zone for perfect size. With all that milling, I'm going to just see what this guy weighs because I'm curious. Of course, I bought a shiny scale. There we go. Okay. 0. Okay. 3.5 ounces. That's pretty darn light, especially considering a 3.3-inch blade. Really light. Just to compare that, let's see what the Sweeney probably weighs a little more than that. No, not much. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about my first Null knife. Pretty much watched a lot of reviews on this knife, and really the Voodoo is the one that kind of people have gone crazy over. And I do like the design of the Voodoo. I think it's really cool looking. But like I said, I'm more of a drop point guy. I like the drop points, and the Voodoo's more like a sheep's foot. It's cool looking blade shape, you know, and I wouldn't mind having a Voodoo either, to be honest with you. But, you know, if for my first Null, this was the one I chose. I don't think I'm going to regret it either. I like the anodization, and I like how they did the hardware as well. Steel lock bar insert, if I didn't mention that. Let's check the lockup. Rock solid. No blade play at all. Up, down, left, right. Clears the detent. Let's see. About right there. So once you get past that, you're shake shut, you know. It's not fall shutty, but I don't care about that. I do like that blade shape, you know. You can, the jimping is functional. It extends to a reasonable range. If you're not choked up on the knife, it pretty much extends as far as you'd need it to. You can push up a little bit on that poon. This is all nicely rounded. Yeah, I mean, you can feel the edges a little bit more than something like this, but this is completely rounded, you know. And I think they were going for a specific design aesthetic with this particular blade, you know, naming it the Radien, maybe like a lightning. Well, I just wanted to share this unboxing. Like I said, I was pretty pumped to get this Null knife. You know, I know they make good knives, and I know he's a good designer, and it's probably my favorite OEM. So, you know, it kind of checked all my boxes. So I'm going to carry this guy and see what I think. I may throw some skiffs in it or not. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. I have them. I think it gets... That's one of the ones in there. I'll have to pick it out. But not going to do this in this particular video. I'm going to use the knife, carry the knife for a little bit, and then I'll make a decision. Speed holes are really cool on that. Blade's beautiful with that hand rub satin. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining me again. This is the Null Knives Radien. This is the R2, so second version, round 2, whatever. You know, there was a V1 as well, but some improvements on this one, like this fuller, some other improvements, more options for colors, and, you know, but at any rate, thanks again for joining me, everybody. Like, subscribe if you dug this content. I'll be doing some more knife videos from time to time. Y'all have a wonderful day out there. Take care.